Love your enemies, for they tell you your faults. If you want to know yourself in the eyes of others, then ask someone who can tell with full transparency. To be fully aware of how we act around other people, we need to listen and be open to hearing criticism. It is difficult to hear about our faults because we are prideful creatures, proud of our achievements, developments, and success, but ashamed of our mistakes and flaws. This will continue to be our problem because even though we are aware of how mistakes lead to our development and how accepting our flaws leads to understanding ourselves better, we still hide our flaws and we continue to be ashamed of our mistakes. In this quote by Benjamin Franklin, we are reminded to appreciate those who could tell and show us that we're only human with flaws that make us different. Sometimes being human also means making mistakes and learning from them. Lost time is never found again. Spend your time wisely because we don't have the luxury of reliving a moment that has already passed. Have you ever regretted doing or not doing something, then wished you could go back in time to make those choices that could have led you to experience happier moments? We don't get a do-over in life. It's the sad reality. A reality we are constantly reminded of every time we regret something in our life. So as early as now, while we still have time, let's start setting our priorities with our goals and family on top and material desires at the bottom. Rather than gathering earthly possessions that eventually lose value, gather experiences. Don't hesitate to pursue your dreams in life, because if you do, it will be one of your greatest regrets. Spend more time with the people who matter. Stay away from unnecessary conflicts because they will not benefit you, not in any way. Benjamin Franklin shares this quote with everyone to remind us that time is precious. Every moment should be spent doing things that give us a sense of fulfillment. Haste makes waste. Even though most mistakes lead to learning and growth, we should not be too hasty to make them. Understandably, we sometimes need to hurry to catch a deadline, a flight, to get to the person we miss the most. However, have you ever noticed that when you are in a rush to do something, you tend to make more mistakes? All mistakes have consequences, and these are what we're trying to avoid most of the time, because there are only so many consequences that we can handle. If you keep on trying to speed up the process of achieving something, it might all eventually lead to failure, wasted time, effort, and resources. This quote by Benjamin Franklin teaches us that sometimes we need to trust the process and move at a normal pace. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Plans need to be paired with action to gain results. You can't just make a list of the things you want to do, leave it, and expect something to happen the next day. Today, it's easy to make plans, but how do we put our plans into action? The most difficult question is, where do we start? If you are not entirely sure how you can implement your plans, develop a simple step-by-step checklist. Start with the easiest thing to do and continue from there. The more time you spend acting upon your plans, the closer you get to achieving your goals. When you step out of your comfort zone, determined to achieve something, you must also be ready to take a risk and open yourself to the possibility of making mistakes along the way. In this quote by Benjamin Franklin, we learn that plans are made to be set in motion. Joy is not in things, it is in us. Happiness is not measured by the amount of material possession that you've gathered throughout the years. It is measured by the satisfaction and content we feel by the end of the day. This quote by Benjamin Franklin tells us that self-development and happiness must be at the top of our priorities. We should keep happiness in mind whenever we are listing down dreams and goals that we want to achieve in our lifetime. Although material things bring us happiness, it does not last. Sooner or later, it will lose its value and it will pass. So instead of gaining something temporary, do something that fills you with purpose. Something that will make you get out of bed full of enthusiasm. Life is unpredictable. What we may have today, we might lose tomorrow. So live every day in pursuit of happiness and live it with the people you love. When you're good to others, you're best to yourself. Do to others what you want to also be done to you. In this quote by Benjamin Franklin, we are reminded that we should treat others with respect. Treating someone with kindness is also a way for us to feel good about ourselves, because when we do the right thing, we feel a surge of satisfaction. Today, it is easier to find an enemy than a friend, because nowadays, it is easy to misunderstand someone, especially since we lack proper communication. Proper communication is like talking to someone while looking at their expression and listening to the tone of their voice when they speak. Most of us communicate through screens, which leads us to sometimes misinterpret a message. Then we act on impulse, and from there, it's easy to judge and hurt someone. In exchange, that person would also find a way to return the favor. From there, the cycle continues and it will negatively affect your life. When confronted with negative thoughts towards others, find a reason to understand and appreciate them, so in return, they will have a reason to love and respect you.